Hey guys, I am Pixel Dan, and I've got a very special first look for you guys today. What we have here in front of us is the prototype for the brand new Skeleton Warriors Grimskull from October Toys. You might remember that October Toys has brought the Skeleton Warriors back with a brand new line of action figures. It wasn't that long ago that I took a look at the prototype for Baron Dark, and then that Kickstarter was funded and we got our very own brand new Baron Dark action figure. Well, October Toys is continuing on, and the next figure in the lineup is Grimskull here, which, if you remember, is one of the good guys, but definitely one of the coolest looking good guys, because he's got a bit of that skeleton look to him as well. So, this is currently running on Kickstarter. It's another Kickstarter campaign. They are looking to fully fund this figure to put it into production, and as of this recording, we've only got about 8 days left. So, George and Aileen Gaspar, my good friends over at October Toys, were nice enough to send along this actual prototype. This is the prototype that is put together for this Kickstarter so that we could get a good up-close look at it so you guys know what to expect when this figure goes into production and gets made. Because it's going to get made, right? We are going to reach the goals because we need more Skeleton Warriors. I was a massive fan of both the cartoon series and the original toy line from Playmates Toys, so this has been one of my favorites. So check this out. We got Grimskull in front of us here, and as I said, this is the prototype. This is not a production piece, which means his articulation is going to be very loose. He's actually not even held together. I can easily just pull the parts out. So I'm not going to be able to move him around too much because he's going to fall apart. He is not meant to be played with yet, but we're going to get a good look at just how awesome this sculpt is. So let's start there. Look at the sculpt on this guy. It is absolutely amazing. George did a fantastic job sculpting this guy, and I was a huge fan of Baron Dark, and I think Grimskull turned out just as good, if not better. Grimskull is one of my favorite characters from this series. He's totally sort of that rogue type hero, right? He's a good guy, but there's a little bit of bad going on there, so he's kind of the anti-hero that you want to root for. Very cool looking character there. You can see he's got that great skull face. He's got that hair kind of hanging down, and you're going to notice, if you're a fan of the original series, that there are some differences between the way this looks and the way the vintage action figure looked, for example. So, let's go ahead and get this out of the way right in the beginning. It's comparison time. I am going to bring in the Playmates Toys Grimskull that was released back in the 90s, so you can see the two figures standing side by side. And you do notice that there's quite a bit of color differences between them. That is because there have been a lot of different media versions of these characters. What I mean by that is we had the cartoon series, we had the comic books, we had original artwork, you know, the original prototype or production artwork for these characters, and of course the original toy line here. And there are differences between all the styles. And one of the cool things that October Toys is doing is they have access to all of this stuff. Since these are officially licensed Skeleton Warriors products, they have the original Bible, they have all of those original designs, and they're basically making the new figures a great hybrid of all of these designs to give us sort of the ultimate version. So the action figure has the darker clothes and the dark hair. The new one actually does look a lot more almost like he did in the cartoon, because even in the cartoon he had a lighter color of hair, and this outfit, you can see, a lot more detailed, very cool looking. So it's really great looking at them side by side. You'll also notice the scale difference. Of course, these are scaled down here. Grimskull, if we bring in the tape measure, you can see he stands just over 4 inches tall. So that's what to expect with that. Now this is where I'm going to bring in our other comparison. This is the production Baron Dark figure that we also got from October Toys last time. You can see that he is quite a bit taller than Grimskull, and that is by design. The skeletons from Skeleton Warriors are supposed to be a lot taller than the human characters. And they're actually October Toys is using the model sheets that shows the height of the characters. Playmates Toys was notorious for having off-scale figures. That's how a lot of the lines were that they did. So, in the original line, they were all basically the same size. October Toys is putting these to scale, the way they're supposed to be. So, the human characters, like Grimskull, are supposed to be shorter than our skeletons. Baron Dark actually stands right at 5 inches tall. So, he's about 3/4 of an inch taller than our Grimskull here. But But as you can see, stylistically, they look fantastic. They really fit in great together. Alright, so let's go and talk about the things that Grimskull is going to come with here. Aside from the awesome paint job, and he is going to be fully articulated. Like I said, this is not a production piece. This is a prototype. So you can kind of see how all the pieces can come off here. The cape will be a removable part. The head will be on a ball joint. We'll have really great articulation all through here. You can see we'll have ball jointed shoulders. You know, you got the great swivels at the elbow. You got bends at the elbow. You got swivels at the wrist. So great range of motion, and all of the parts will be those fully functioning Glyos parts, just like we saw with Baron Dark, which means you'll be able to pop apart every joint so you can do mix and match stuff. You can plug them in with, you know, other Glyos compatible figures that fit those joints. So that's really cool to know as well. But you don't have to pop them apart, and you'll still get great articulation off of them. So really kind of hits both of the markets there as far as what you want to see out of these action figures. So let's go ahead and talk about those accessories, shall we? He comes with a few things here. First of all, he does have a little blaster. Great sculpt there. You can see it looks fantastic. Now, one of the things I can't do, since this is like the resin figure here, I'm not going to be able to plug in the accessories because there's no give on his hands. I don't want to break anything. So I'm just going to show you guys the accessories. But we do have a blaster. And, of course, we also will get his staff, which is, you know, a classic weapon. Even the the Playmates figure came with the staff accessory. And this is what we always saw him carrying around. So he'll have the staff that he can hold on to that also has a handle here, so he can use it kind of like a weapon that way. Got the blade on there. Great paint deco, the silver and the golds and the bit of a wash there to really bring out the details. So fantastic accessory there as well. And then we come to this awesome little interchangeability accessory. And this goes back to what I was talking about, how they're trying to make the ultimate versions of these characters. You get an alternate chest emblem. And the reason for this is because while they're doing their best to make these guys the ultimate versions as possible, they felt that the skull chests were different enough in some of the different forms of media that it warranted to have two different designs. The original toy even kind of had more of the skull design that we see on his chest currently, where it had these little bone-handled daggers going through the skull. However, on the cartoon series, it looked more like this skull with the giant spikes sticking out of the eyes. So their way to get around this, or to make it so that you can pose them however you want it to, is we're gonna have this interchangeable piece. You'll be able just to pop this one out of the peg hole in the front of the chest, and you can pop in the other one as well. Now again, I have a prototype here, so I'm not going to remove these or try to pull this off to show you, but the final production figure, you'll be able to swap these parts so that you can just display them however you want to. You want them to look like the original toy, or you want them to look like the cartoon series? Boom, you've got both options for doing so. Now, there are a few stretch goals as well, which I'm really hoping are going to get met, because the stretch goals on the Kickstarter campaign are going to give us some more really great pack-ins for Grimskull. First of all, we have his companion wolf, Stalker. Look at that. Beautiful sculpt. It'll be our first time actually getting this guy as an action figure there. So we have his companion wolf. He's not articulated, but he's a great little display piece. Look at that. You can have him standing right there alongside Grimskull, and he's just going to look fantastic. And you got to have him, right? So I'm really hoping that this is a stretch goal that's met. And the second stretch goal is going to give us a really, really cool extra accessory. One of those relics that is really important to the Skeleton Warriors mythos, being the Light Star Crystal. This, of course, is what caused all the trouble to begin with. Baron Dark wanting to get his hands on the Light Star Crystal. So this is going to be a bonus accessory if we're met on the second stretch goal. And you can see it's a great sculpt, does a great job of recreating the look of that crystal, has this beautiful, shiny or reflective, almost pearlescent pink paint deco, and not only will we get the complete Light Star Crystal, but we also get a version that is cracked and broken. Just like we saw happen in the first episode of the Skeleton Warriors cartoon series, the crystal that is responsible for all the transformations we see in the show. So that makes for another awesome accessory. So again, that's a stretch goal along with Stalker. So what do we need to do, guys? Well, we need to go get in on this Kickstarter campaign. We got to back it. We got to make sure it's funded. Like I said, we don't have much time left, and a minimum payment, a minimum pledge of $20 will get you the Grimskull action figure. And there's lots of bonuses if you want to throw in for some extra stuff. You can get yourself some bonus Titan skeletons to throw in the mix, and I mean, just really, really great Kickstarter. I love everything that October Toys produces. They make really great quality figures, beautiful sculpts, and I just love what they are doing with Skeleton Warriors. It's one of my favorite kind of forgotten toy lines from the 90s, and it really deserves to get these new action figures. So definitely check out the Kickstarter campaign while it's running. I'm going to put the link in this video description. Head over there, check it out, and if it looks like something you want to get in on, then get in on it. Get yourself a Grimskull action figure. I gotta give a very special thanks to my good friends George and Aileen over at October Toys for sending me the actual prototype just so I can film it and show it off to you guys. So let's all thank them by checking out that Skeleton Warriors campaign on Kickstarter. Even if it's something that you don't want to buy in on, share it. Maybe one of your friends does. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to check out the Kickstarter. Until next time, my friends.